This morning I was going through a drawer and I came across my old silver wedding ring. Guys, this is Fernando doing another video for More Survivalist, and this brought me back in time a few years when I first had it made. And you may be wondering why I have two wedding rings, silver one and gold one. And this goes back to after the economic collapse in Argentina and the crime wave that followed. Gold was specifically targeted. Criminals knew that gold. Sometimes people debate so much about gold being worth more or less and going up and down in price. Gold is always worth something, and gold is in demand, and it's very easy to flip for a few bucks. So a criminal, making it with one of these or some other gold jewelry, it's very easy for them to go to these stores where they buy gold, which are these days pretty much across the entire world. You see these in most cities. So it became so common that even women started just replacing and just stop wearing gold jewelry and using silver jewelry. For us, for guys, that the only jewelry that we have is just our wedding ring. It happened as well. I talked about it with my wife, and we ended up deciding to just leave our gold wedding rings at home and use these ones on regular basis on the streets and such. Especially these are a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit bigger than some of the smaller ones. It was kind of a little bit of a temptation for most criminals out there on the streets. So I know of quite a few people that ended up doing this. So we're not alone on it. It's just not worth the risk. Even stuff like a watch like this one, a little bit more shinier maybe, and looks maybe a little bit more expensive. Even that kind of thing it's something that you would try to avoid wearing in Argentina, at least for last several years. And we just we decided to just leave these home, start wearing these, and we made up our minds about start wearing these again when our circumstances changed, and when we left Argentina we started using them again. It's a little bit of a reminder of how things were for us not really that long ago, and I hope we just don't see that, at least not anytime soon. I'm pretty sure it's hard for you guys to understand if you haven't experienced that level of crime, that level of violence as well. It changes. You maybe think, oh, it's just a symbolic thing. It's not just that. I mean, it's not just not wearing a gold ring and having to wear a silver one. Doesn't seem like much of a big deal. But then it's also about the watch you wear. It's also about the way you dress. It's also about the kind of car that you're going to be driving. I know for a fact of people that could have bought a nicer car, and they end up not doing that in Argentina because they know that if I buy a nicer car, then I'm more likely to be carjacked. I'm more likely to be even kidnapped because of a nicer car that looks as if I have money. So all these things you end up doing, maybe even not going places or traveling across the country as much as you would have liked, or going out with your friends or family or whatnot. These are all things you end up doing out of fear, and it's not an irrational fear. It's a fear very much based on reality, because it is that bad and you just want to keep yourself safe and your family safe. So you end up not doing all these things that otherwise you would do. And you know what? It ends up feeling as if you put life in pause. That's the best way of describing it. You just don't live anymore. You just survive day by day, making it through. And when you mentally think of things that you would like to do, but then you process them and you realize, oh, but there's a higher risk factor in this and such, so let's better not do this, let's better not buy this, let's better not go here or there. It is not nice, and I'm just glad that's not our reality anymore, because there's always going to be crime everywhere, and violent people and problems such as those. But it's one thing to have them as they occur in developed nations, and it's another very different as it happens in places like Argentina, where it really is bad. It's so bad that it affects the way you end up living, and it's really not pretty. I was recently watching a video of Venezuela. A guy was showing how life is a little bit in Venezuela, and he would just walk into a grocery store with his camera and start asking, do you have oil? Do you have sugar? Do you have flour? And he would go to 1, 2, 3, 5 supermarkets. None of them would have oil, sugar, flour. I mean, so restricted. And what kind of life is that? Then he would show how stores are closed at night, how restaurants are closed, how pretty much the streets are empty after 6 p.m. and talking with other people. They would all say that if you go on the streets, you have to go with a guard of your own. Have a security guy assigned to you. Hire a guard so as to go with you. And I know of one guy that actually works doing just that, running errands, going to banks and such for a guy with money. He would just do those things that were high-risk activities, while in other places of the world, such things are stuff that an 80-year-old grandma can do. Well, not in Venezuela, and maybe not Argentina may not be that bad still, but it's heading that way. At least it's close enough so as to be beyond what I was able or willing to live with. So that's why we change our reality. So just guys, a few thoughts that came to mind when I found my old silver ring. Folks, if you like the video, consider subscribing and sharing it with others, and take care. Have a great day. See you on the next video.